Today I wanted to look at the core class list now that Player Core 2 is out and where they rank. Now, rather than doing the usual list of just putting them all together, I wanted to break it down into the traditional roles that we tended to have in a Dungeons & Dragons game: the warrior, the magician, the priest, and then the scoundrel. So first on the list we have the warriors. Now for me, the monk just makes the baseline warrior. It's good, unarmed strikes, flurry of blows for the extra attack, and then they can pick up stunning strike and then stand still to control enemies' movement and try and add some control to it. The ranger, on the other hand, just seems to be a bit lacking, below average in that warrior role. The flurry ranger can use weapons well, but doesn't necessarily come out when you compare it to the fighter or the barbarian using a two-handed weapon. And of those two, I think it's a very close tie for which one jumps to the top of the list. At level 6 to 9, I think the barbarian takes the lead, but the fighter starts with reactive strike, whereas the barbarian doesn't get it till level 6. Giving them the lead early on, and then at level 10 they get a second reaction, and they also get heavy armor, pushing them into the top spot. Now we have several full casters, usually unarmored, although they can pick armor up easily. Now the witch is our baseline here. She's got good hexes, option of all 4 traditions, so you can choose your magic. Now, unfortunately, the Oracle doesn't quite live up to the expectation. The new method, the curses, whilst it's better than previously, you still end up just taking the dedication and being a better Oracle than the initial Oracle. And sadly, the wizard, the favourite of other games, becomes our failure here. There's only 2 focus point spells on the wizard list, so they can't get 3 focus spells without going into another class. The spontaneous casters have better options generally than the prepared caster, so even though they can fill a book with spells, they're often stuck not necessarily being able to use all of their spells. And that gives us our outstanding star with the sorcerer. They can take any of the magic traditions. They've got plenty of focus points available to them and other options, and being charisma caster, it's very easy for them to pick up from other classes. The champion archetype fits very well on them, since they can put points into strength rather than dexterity, pick up healing, and then a reaction that can help everyone. Now, this grouping might be a little odd, but when we're looking at doing magical healing and protecting the rest of the party, the champion kind of joins the cleric and druid and the bard here. Their reaction, if you take a good aligned champion, will reduce damage, which is similar to healing, and they have lay on hands. Now, the druid, for me, is just the baseline. They're good, but they don't really stand out. Now the champion and the bard both have good controlling options, so they're above average for me, awesome picks. But the standout with their divine font is going to be the cleric. With the new rules, they don't need charisma, although they can still take it to dip into other classes. But they start off with 4 extra healing spells, going all the way up to 6 at higher levels, and that's on top of anything else that they do. And now we have our scoundrels, the traditional lightly armoured pickpocket, finding traps. Now, the alchemist is sort of the odd one out here. It doesn't quite fit in with the rest, but if we're dividing 16 classes into groups of 4, it had to pop in somewhere. Now, the rogue drops into the could do better for me here. They just don't quite live up to it. Skills are good, but you're not actually better at any single skill than another class. You just have more skill training, and having to work to get the ability to deal your precision damage just makes it harder than taking a straight character like a fighter or a barbarian that can just deal damage. Now, the investigator, similar to the rogue, has lots of extra skills, but their ability to deal damage using their stratagems gives them more options and control. And then we have the swashbuckler, who's been improved with their panache with bravado. So even if they're not succeeding at their actions, they're then able to use their finishers. They also have a lovely version. They can pick up reactive strike at level 6, but they have their riposte at level 3, so if someone critically missed them, they're able to attack. So where does that leave us all? Well, our warrior, the fighter, the sorcerer and the cleric are our outstanding stars. The barbarian, bard, champion, alchemist and swashbuckler, they're awesome. And then we have the monk, the witch, the druid and the investigator as sort of baseline class. And then dropping below, just needing a little bit to help them really, the ranger, the oracle and the rogue. And then the only one who's clearly not studied his spellbooks properly, the wizard, is our failure. He just isn't really good enough.